Okay, guys, so the debate question is, should wealthy countries give aid to developing countries to alleviate poverty? We'll go ahead and start with Sartoga. Remember, this is a question and answer part, so everyone has to participate in the question and answer part. Okay, whenever you're ready.
Hello. Hello. I'm Satoka. So, do you know that poverty makes nearly 22,000 of children die every day? Also, there is a fact that about 800 of children under the 5 years old die every single hour in 2011. Uh, the wealthy countries should not give aid to developing countries. This is because wealthy countries do not make do not make do not help much due to some corruptions. Also, there is no huge improvements for the developing countries. In addition, even though there are a lot of aid given to developing countries, there are still a lot of people struggling with poverty. So look at this graph. This graph shows contrast between aid and growth in Africa throughout 1970 to 20,000. As the time goes past, the growth in Africa is decreasing while the number of aid is increasing. So it is no use giving aid to developing countries to alleviate poverty.
Go back to the other two now.
So hello everybody, my name is Peter. Our team is representing the views which is against poverty. We think that we still need to help to help developing countries to alleviate poverty. We still need to aid to developing countries. So what's poverty in general? Poverty is when you don't have enough resources for life, when you need something to live normally, and actually poverty is causing a lot of problems such as exploitation of children, children diseases, air and water pollution. And so we think that developed countries, they need to help developing countries because there is not a lot of changing, but it's still changing. Situation is increasing, situation is getting better, economic situation is getting better, growth of the country is getting better. We don't want developing countries to feel themselves marginalized, and I think that's all I wanted to say. So it's an introduction.
Let's go on and let's go on to person three first, and then after person three from each team, we'll open up the first question and answer session. Okay. So person three, that would be I have your speeches here, but that's what I'm looking at. Okay.
So I think that we shouldn't give aid to poor countries because there's a lot of corruption, and normally corruption go hand by hand with poverty. And what if we give money to the poor countries? It basically goes to the government's leaders and the important people to the government from the government, and it basically goes straight to their pockets, and they get richer and richer, and then they don't pay, like they don't use that money to do schools and roads, houses for people, and because of that, people are getting poorer and poorer and don't have like the basic needs like water, bathrooms, houses, and yeah. And the fact is that because of poverty, 482 women die from birth for every 100,000 births. That's it.
Okay, let's go be ready.
How much money did you spend on your dinner yesterday? Or how much money did you spend last time you went shopping? What if I tell you there's people that spends $20 per month? Or what if I tell you there's people who can take their dying daughters to the hospital because of the financial circumstances? I'm gonna show you this picture of this little girl whose name is Umi. She lived with her family in Kenya, one of the poorest countries in the world. When she died, she was 2 years old. Her family loved her, and when she got sick, her dad started working extra hours so they can take care of her. Even though he worked and worked and worked, all he got was $22 per month. Umi started getting really sick with pneumonia. And hunger made it worse. She was fighting hard with her life, but the disease won her. How does that make you feel? Like, imagine them being able to eat for months or even years, and even watching members of your family dying slowly, and you cannot do nothing about it. Like, you cannot even support them and help them because you don't have the resources. Stories like Umi's, there's thousands. So this motivates me to like help who need it, those who need it. And I think we don't need to be like ignorant, and we have to appreciate what we have and our privileges.
Okay, let's open it up for question and answer. So instead of saying each team has 2 minutes, I'm just going to say anybody can ask a question. You have about 4 minutes, 3 minutes maybe, and everybody must participate at least once. So we'll do this 3 times, so this is the first one. Okay, so anybody can ask questions.
Questions.
Yeah, you can ask about what someone said, you can challenge them, you can ask about their sources, challenge their ideas.
While we're speaking.
Right now, it's open to anybody. Yeah, it's not part of your speeches, it's spontaneous. Okay, good. You don't have to wait for me.
This one is from Word Developing Indicators Online, and this website is believable because the publisher of the website is reliable.
And when daily are dying 22,000 kids, so why shouldn't we help them? When daily are dying 22,000 kids, why shouldn't we help them? To decrease the number of dying kids every day.
Well, we should. If that money is going to hurt their government, why shouldn't we go to the
Good point, nice.
One more question.
Do you have an accent?
No.
Say it again, Max.
we should try and decrease it, but if that money's going into corrupted governments,
Yeah, but
we wouldn't.
the money donated from rich countries is going for schools and hospitals.
How do you know that?
Yeah, because the death rate decreased to 18%.
Yeah, but how do you know that money's going
Nothing,
into schools?
it didn't decrease.
It decreased
The money that
from
were
24 to 18% in Africa.
the money that were donated for poor countries, twice of this money were spent on external goods by the government. However, when they should have been spent on the developing the economy, they were spent on external goods that which poor people don't need.
Peter, your question?
Yeah, I have a question. I need to know your position, your thoughts about where does all the money goes. If it doesn't go to alleviate poverty, where does it go?
It goes to the government,
The corrupted government.
the corrupted government, and then like the leaders
So
of the
they are
government.
very corrupt in government.
The leaders of the government just take all the money and keep it.
They all the money, there's no bills, there's nothing. They just donate money, they say yes, okay, thank you. They take about like $1 trillion, right? It's yours.
Do you guys have an example that you
I
can
didn't
use?
understand what.
I mean, like, there's a lot of money. There's like about like more than billions dollars. So I think that all
Something
the
like trillion.
government is taking all there.
They keep it for
It's
themselves.
the
and
corrupted.
they-
It's because like
There's a lot of
there's
people.
no big improvements for developing countries.
There are a lot of ways how the government can hide
Yeah, but
their spendings, and they can say that they are basically alleviating the poverty. However, at this time, they can be using this money for their own welfare, not caring about
Yes,
people.
but what
However, on the original papers, on the papers that they're going to show to the rich countries that donated them the money, they can show, okay, we spent it then to alleviate the poverty. But no one knows the truth.
no,
What evidences do you have about this?
We have a lot of pages here.
Can you guys have a specific example of like a
What
specific
evidence
leader or
do you
specific
have?
country where it's been a problem?
South Africa
No, Zambia.
and Zambia.
Like in Zambia, we send lots of money, and no one knows where that money went. It just seemed to disappear. Nothing happened with it.
Okay, we'll stop it there. That was a good question and answer session. So if you haven't had a chance to ask a question, think about what you might like to ask. You can write it down or make some notes. Or if you hear someone say something that you want to challenge or ask more about, like where did you find that information? Or how do you know? That's a good thing to do. We'll do that again 2 more times. Okay? Let's continue on persons 4 and 5. So from Satoka's team here, 4 and 5.
I think it's you.
No, it's 4-5. I'm sorry.
It's Tony. Right? Okay, let's listen up to the speaker, please.
In 2012, developed countries give $1.3 trillion in aid to developing countries, and these facts are not helping developing countries. Actually, they are improving poverty. For example, most of the money is going to large corporations and not to these small farmer who really need money. Actually, nobody knows this farmer, so all the money is going to the government and to these actually rich corporations, and they are gonna be more rich actually. The government wastes every year more than 2 times all the money that they receive in external countries. Like if they have to build a hospital, they are gonna contract some construction from developed countries. So they are paying the money back to a rich country, and they are not improving the economy in their own country. So next year they are gonna need this money again because they are not using his own goods and our resources. And in another words, they are giving back the money to rich countries. And that's all I want to say.
We'll go to person 4 and 5. Go ahead.
Yeah, so nearly 50% of the world's population is living for less than $250, it's 3 billion people. And more than 1.3 billion are living in extreme poverty, what means $1.25 a day. And imagine that all these people don't have money for clean water, for food, and to live, to have a shelter. And 22,000 people, children, are dying each day because of poverty. And I think we should help these people because we are all people. And imagine that you're in the situation of these people, and would you like someone to help you? If I would be on the situation of these people, I really would like someone to help me. And I think if we have money and we don't really need it, we should help these people.
Okay, so if you support given aid, you should ask yourself one question: where is that money going to? Yes, it's good to help the poor. It's right to help the poor. But if that money is going into corrupt government pockets, is it still morally right? Example: Zambia. We gave money, but nothing happened with that money. It didn't go to schools, hospitals, or anything. It just seemed to disappear. Yes, of course we should help the poor people, but should it be through aid? In our opinion, the money should be through microfinance. Of course we should help the poor, but we shouldn't just give it to them like that. We should put it into the businesses or something to help them. Like the fish metaphor. Give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, he eats for life. That's why we think the microfinance is better and sustainable and relevant.
So can I start? Okay, so can you imagine if you didn't have access to drinkable water, you didn't have enough energy to walk or even say a word? What is the feeling if you can't put a warm clothes to your child? This leads to poverty. It's not just a definition, it's a whole another world full of struggles and failure. People experience lack of money, daily basic needs such as shelter, food, and lack of money. These circumstances lead to hard time to achieve some physical, emotional, and mentally needs. Yeah. Won't you agree people face poverty, die because of no food? They fight every day with hope to see the sun on the next day. Poverty goes hand in hand with stress. This leads to chronic stress, which leads to high blood pressure and heart problem. We would like to ask developing countries to alleviate poverty. This can happen if they give aid and support developing countries, because we're all equal, we're all one big family, and we're all each brothers and sisters, and we're one unity.
Maxine.
I forgot everything, don't worry. Improvising is the best speech.
Max, before you start up, why don't we turn it over for question and answer again?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's open it up with that. We had effort from Max Gordon, Satoka, Katsfus, Maxine, Max Rivas, TT, the others I haven't heard of.
Sorry, Vivi, I know, I asked question.
Okay, so I'll open it up for about three minutes. Anybody can ask?
So, Peter, what are you doing today?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Could you give any specific examples except Zambia that you give? Give an example about Zambia and it still doesn't make sense. You said that like they invested money, they donated money, but it disappeared. You didn't even say where did it go.
That's the thing no one knows. When,
Maybe they just lost money. Doesn't mean that.
no, like, it's just it's like,
But for there's no rules that even the government do it.
They could lose $1 trillion.
they don't do that.
But I was, what are your evidences and like, do you have evidences about this?
Well,
No.
last week, the United Kingdom stopped giving aid to Africa because 4.2 million disappeared.
But, okay,
Stop
but
giving
how-
aid,
how
not
you
AIDS.
sure- How you sure where they went, or how you sure they went to
Well,
corruption?
if the government asked to this African country and they don't give an answer back, you can understand it's corruption.
No, you don't have evidences about it.
If we give
I
$1
know.
trillion, but they only use 5% helping this country, well, we should not give only this 5% equal to $50 million.
I mean that, like, I mean, the corruption, there's still people in that, why they don't want to support the poor people.
I'm sorry for this younger who died at 2 years old in Kenya, but it's not my fault, it's the government fault.
Yeah,
Yeah, but there's
poor
going to be
people.
saying that. Like,
But if
I
we
mean,
stop,
We're not
if
against
you were
I
in
mean,
that
I already give them money, but if they waste in his own business,
okay, but if we stop donating them money,
No,
giving them aid, what is going to happen?
I mean, the government, when they contract to build a hospital, probably this company who built the hospital is actually the company for the owner of the country.
Yeah, but
Probably
it's
the
not like we
government.
don't
So we
people
keep them.
earn money for
I would tell us like how they can improve because of gift, because of age. Like I want to know a specific example.
Like, can I say something? A lot of people are paid money not just to government. They money directly to the hospitals, directly to the schools and so on. And maybe in some time they visit this place again and they see improvements of the school or the hospital or something. So it shows that fact that people are really improving something. If you're gonna give the money directly to people who can improve something, such as like school or hospital. So this is why we can still pay money. This is what I said. Situation is improving, but not fast. That's true, but it's still improving.
Yeah, but 50 years ago, the poor continent was Asia, and now it's Africa. Why now Asia is one of the richest one, and Africa still being the poorest one?
So then should we help Africa to be like Asia?
Yes.
No, but it's not helping at all because we don't help Asia, and now it's one of the richest ones. So they should start working and stop living.
Yeah, but everyone is helping.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
they're
Everyone is
But
giving money.
if they keep the money, I mean, if we have to give $1 trillion and they only use 1 billion, well, we should give $1 trillion. I mean, it's helping, but if it's only helping the 1%, we should
Still
give
helping.
all the
Still
money.
helping. Still helping.
That's exactly what I said. That it's,
For example, we
situation
can
is improving, but
Yeah, but
One by little,
okay,
step by
it's
step.
helping, but not enough. If it's only helping 1%, if we give 1 trillion and they only use 1 billion, we should.
Okay, but you're right.
Tony, you're drowning. Stop, you're drowning, bro. They are just like.
Like there will be ways, so why do we have to?
They're not
there's a
wasting.
lot of people that need it. So,
Yes.
like, there's
Yes,
a
but
lot
we're
of
not against helping poor. We want to help the poor, but is it through aid the best way? How do you know that money goes to the hospital or schools and stuff like that?
How do you know they go to corruption?
Because all these countries are the corrupt, all the red ones are corrupt, and all the yellow ones
are the ones that give money to
all red.
To red, right?
all the yellow ones are the ones that give money to
To which countries?
And also we can know the
Bro,
Other way to
USA,
tell you that just
USA has как будто внешний долг 21 триллион долларов.
He said that they own $21 trillion.
To other countries.
Yes.
They don't do anything. So how can you say about it?
yellow. Look,
I'm on theirs.
Okay, we'll continue with the part 7 and 8. And then we have a little more time to answer my questions and answers. Thank you for that. Okay, Maxim,
Yeah. Nowadays, countries just can't develop because of the very corrupted government, and aid has never alleviated poverty. And if people really want to help other countries, I think they need to start looking for other ways of helping. For example, they can start establishing charity funds, so the money doesn't go to the government, it goes straight to the people who are in need of them. Nowadays, there are no improvements in the economics situation of poor and developing countries, and basically, the more poor you are, crime rate increases. So it means that if a children come from poor countries and slums, they're more likely to be expelled from the schools or to get a police report. If we want to change something, the changes need to be started from the government. The government need to start caring more about people than about their own welfare. But today, there is just no point for giving aid to other countries if the government won't change. That's all.
Nearly one half of the world's population, more than 3 billion people, lives on less than $2.5 per day. More than 1.3 billion people in our world lives in extreme poverty with less than $1.25 per day. According to UNICEF, 22,000 children died because of poverty and hunger. That's a horrific fact, isn't it? Why we also quote people, humans, citizens of the world are not helping them. We should be humanitarian and care more about what's going on in our world. We should support each other and little by little make little steps to improve the financial situation and alleviate the poverty. We should care more about the social, economical, and political elements. If the world were 100 people, 11 would be poor. That's shocking, isn't it? Why we should care the poverty if we have good lives, maybe some of you are going to ask. This is because we need to put ourselves in their places. Well, for end, I will leave you with this question. Do you want you, your wife, your children, your mother and father to live with less than $1 per day? Thank you.
Welcome. Giving aids to them.
Give yourself a round of applause. We'll do 5 of these, so we'll do 4 more. That's a good first one. Go ahead, I'll let you guys ask a few more questions, and then I'll give you some notes at the end.
yes.
I want to know the specific example really helps alleviate poverty. I want to know the specific example that shows that aid really helps to alleviate.
There's a lot of interviews on the internet, like one we did homework about the girl from TEDx. She was saying about how she was helping people, how she was reading, she was saying about the behavior of these people, and so. And like there's a millions of videos like this. There's a millions of interviews and millions of the news like this. Yeah, but the thing is that this woman that was in TEDx, she wasn't donating money from the government. She was donating them through the government. Yeah, she was giving them straight to the people, as I said in my
Microfinance.
as I said in my speech, that we need to give money from the funds straight to the people, without
without interrupting government in this situation. Because otherwise, government takes all the money. And you just said the example that girl just gave money straight to people without
A lot of people are donating money straight to people, and also it doesn't work like this. It doesn't work to donate $1 trillion to people, and they just take it. They probably they can take a part of it, like most part of it, but they anyway gonna spend it because like it doesn't work that like developed countries are not making any inspections. It doesn't work like that. Developed countries are only giving money and they don't care about it. They're thinking that we give money and we don't have to do
So
it.
basically, you just said that poor countries are just spending all the money we give them.
Yeah,
Because most of the money is spending on the external, which poor people don't even care about.
but anyway, the situation is improving. There I said it doesn't improve for like $1 trillion.
Can you show any evidence that the situation is improving?
Well, I'm saying help me out. What evidence do you want me to
Tell me the evidences that the situation is improving. I don't see any improvement.
You don't see any improvement. There's a lot of schools, a lot of hospitals that are improving still. There's a lot of
Maybe all because of this, maybe because they're not improving, maybe we need to donate more and help them more. Because even if we give them, if for example, we give them more money, we're not changing our lives. We
We
still
donate several billion dollars.
okay, but
There's no
it's
improvement at all.
not